Okay, hi guys, welcome back to another YouTube tutorial. Now, I'm going to be focusing on rich dark clouds this week, and what I have kind of a different setup here now today. I'll swing the camera around and show you. Now, I have the palette above the canvas and this big sheet of wood, okay? And that's because I want to show you mixing as well at the same time. I had a couple of comments saying people would love to see me mixing the colour as well. So this is what I came up with, guys. I hope you'll be able to see. Now I can zoom in on the painting as well from time to time to show you what I'm doing. Now this is going to be a very long, wide landscape, okay? It's only a small painting, and I just wanted to show you about painting dark grey clouds going across a seascape. And here and there we're going to have some bright red sailboats off in the distance sailing away, and that's going to be a really lovely contrast, red against the dark grey. So that's the story this week. I've been very, very busy lately, sorting out paintings and doing all of the bits and pieces, so I hadn't time to do much. So I'm just going to keep this nice and simple this week, and I hope you enjoy it. Now, I might, if I have time, get some of my canvas paper and show you just one or two things about clouds as well, because I had some comments on painting clouds. So if I have time, I'll get my bit of canvas paper, my sketching pad really, out, and I'll do one or two little clouds for you as well. So I'm going to mount the camera up on the mount up here overhead, and we'll crack on. So I hope you enjoy. Okay guys, here we go. Now I have my palette here, and I'm going to name out my colours here now, okay? I have, now you should see these on your screen as well. I have phaylo blue, which is a very, very, very dark, rich blue. It's great for doing very strong shadows. I have cobalt blue, which is lovely for painting bright blue skies. I have a little bit of lamp black. I have a little bit of cadmium red, deep. Now there's a few different kind of variations of cadmium red. This is the deep variation. I have burnt sienna. I don't know if I'll be using burnt sienna today, but it's on my palette since the last painting I was doing. I have burnt umber, a little bit of burnt umber. I have some cadmium yellow pale, which I might not use either. I have some naples yellow, which I more than likely will use, and titanium white. And that's it. That's just a few colours that we're going to need today. And we might not even use all of them. So, now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start off with a little horizon line, okay? Now, I'm not going to go exactly halfway, because the general rule of thumb is to go either above the horizon line or below the centre line, should I say. Either above the centre line or below the centre line. Now, if the centre line is around here, okay, on the canvas, I think I'm going to come down a little bit below it. Alright, so I'm going to come down to around there, and I'm going to just roughly do just a rough horizon line across here. Okay, doesn't have to be perfect. We can fix it with paint. And that's literally the only bit of drawing you need to do. Okay, that's it. Put the pencil away, and let's pick up our lovely green brush. Now this is a lovely worn brush. I've painted about 20 or 30 paintings from this brush alone. And it's only a cheap synthetic brush. Excuse me. I use majority of synthetic brushes. Quite simply because I just love the nice soft feel. I don't like the feel of bristles. Now I have bristles, but I don't use them very much, if I can be honest. I love using the synthetics, and they come in loads of different shapes and sizes. I mostly use the flat brushes because they have a lovely chisel edge for painting reflections and getting sharp edges on what you're painting. But they're really only cheap brushes. You could get a pack. You could get a pack of 3 or 4 for about €10, which is cheap, and they last you. They last you weeks and weeks and weeks. So those are the brushes I use. I also have little pointy brushes, okay, just for details. And I also have, for blending, a lovely soft makeup brush. And that's it, lads, just a makeup brush. A nice, simple, cheap makeup brush. And it's lovely for blending clouds in and getting soft edges on clouds and reflections, and it gives a lovely soft finish to the painting. Now that's just the way I like it. A lot of artists would disagree, and that's completely understandable. Also, for painting trees, some of these old synthetics, they've gotten quite worn, so they kind of splay. You see the way they've kind of splayed out? And that's fantastic for painting trees. And all you do literally is just dab. And you're moving the brush in different directions. And it creates some lovely trees and bushes off in the distance. So if they go bad like this, do not throw them out. I use them until they go right down. Okay? That's just me. I'm just a cheapskate. Sorry lads, but I'm just a cheapskate. Now, I also have next to me some turpentine with a little drop of linseed oil and some tissue. Normal cheap tissue. So it's not an expensive hobby by any means. Right, I'm going to start off here with a nice grey sky. Now I'm going to start off with a light grey, I think. I'm kind of playing this one by ear. I'm just going to play around with it as I'm going along. Okay, so I'm just going to wet my brush just a little, and I'm going to pick up some white, and I hope you can see this now, okay? And I'm going to pick up a touch of, let me see now, I'm going to start with a touch of cobalt, I think. Touch of cobalt, and a touch of white. I make it nice and wet now, okay? Not too thick. And I'm just going to come across in here with some light blue, but it will be grey in a minute, you'll see. Into that, I'm going to put a touch of burnt umber, okay? Just a touch. Because I want to make a nice sort of a warm grey. And it's going to be a warm painting, it's not going to be a very cold painting at all. Let's take a bit more white, and let's just put a bit of that just around here. You see, I'm painting here from a picture on the tablet that I have next to me here. It's just a picture of the sky. Just the sky, nothing else. And it's just, I'm using it as a reference, just as a quick reference. I'm going to take a touch of cerulean, or I beg your pardon, phaylo, a touch of phaylo blue and white. And I'm just going to put some of that in just on this side of the painting here. Because there is a little touch of the blue sky just coming through on this. And as I said, this is only a small painting now, this is 20 inches by 8. That's all it measures. So it's a small enough painting. Now, I'm going to darken this all across here. So I'm going to just damp my brush again, just make it a little bit wetter. Go into some lamp black and a little bit of white. And give it a good mix. I'll just come across here with this and see what happens. The thing about painting is, I suppose, it needs to be kind of spontaneous, don't it? It can't be too forced. And if it doesn't look exactly like what you're painting, that's fine. That's absolutely fine. It doesn't matter at all. The whole idea is that you just enjoy what you're doing. That's my principle. If I don't enjoy what I'm doing, there's no point in me doing it. So now we're going to be building up layers on this, okay? So this is just kind of a first layer, really, that's all it is. Now I'm going to darken it slightly, and I'm going to take a touch of phaylo blue as well. Just for this corner here. Because it's a very, very, very dark kind of, I won't call them wispy clouds. They're a little on the wispy side, but not too much. A little bit of brown into it. And you can see now I'm just kind of adding colours as I go here. And I'm mixing them on the canvas as well. You don't necessarily have to do all your mixing on the palette. Let's take a touch of red. And that's just going to warm it up slightly. And I'm going to come right down here. And there's almost a hint of orange kind of coming through. Now you probably think orange, but there's a little hint of an orangey colour coming through over here on the sky. I presume it's from lights reflecting up from the city underneath or something like that. So I'm just going to put it in because it looks nice. So you can see now it's coming on nicely already, isn't it? Now I'm just taking some white. Now I'm almost working completely dry on this. I'm just dipping my brush into colours and putting them on the canvas and scrubbing them on then. So my brushwork here is quite dry. If I'm painting the background here, it's quite wet just to cover it quickly. And then when you get to this section of the painting, putting in clouds and stuff like that, I'm just basically using a dry brush. And I'm just dipping directly into the paint. Okay? I just wanted to explain that to you. So I'm not dipping into my turpentine every time I change colours. And you can see it's already starting to look quite nice, isn't it? Now I'm just taking that colour off of my brush with the tissue. And let me have a quick look, a quick glance now at the photograph. I'm going to put in a lot more darks now around here. So I'm taking some lamp black again. Now if you have Payne's grey as well, that's absolutely fine. You can just use Payne's grey. That's absolutely fine, no problem whatsoever. I just like to use lamp black. I used Payne's grey for a long time, for years and years. And I just found with the Payne's grey, it just was not rich enough for me. I found myself putting layer upon layer upon layer, trying to get a nice rich dark colour. And I found myself really using a lot of paint unnecessarily. So I said, look, I'm just going to buy a lamp black now, or ivory black, they're both similar, and try that. And it worked out quite nice, to be honest. Now you can hear me scrubbing away here on this. I'm going to bring in some clouds. Let me see now. I'll bring one or two clouds just in here. I'm just scrubbing the brush now in a circular motion here. See that? That's all I'm doing. Because I do want this paint to be quite dark. Because you see, we're going to have some red sailboats here later, and I want them to really stand out. I want them to jump up off of the painting. So I really want it quite dark. Now I'm taking some more black, a touch of red, and let's try that and see how that looks. Now you probably can't notice the changes because of the camera being so far away, but I'm going to zoom the camera in here now for you, just for you, and I'm going to give you a close-up of what I'm doing, okay? So you're not going to see me mixing for a while, but I will be explaining what I'm doing. Alright, so bear with me. There now. That's a little bit better, isn't it? And we will turn it just slightly. We try and make it as straight as we can for you lads. There now, that's not too bad. Nice little close up there so you can see what I'm doing. Now, back in, so let's go. With some more lamp black, some burnt umber, and a touch of burnt sienna. Now the burnt sienna will warm it up a little, because I do want to stay warm. I don't want to end up going very cold with this. If you add a lot of blue into your mixes, it will get very, very cold. And I don't want it to be too cold, to be quite honest. I'm just scrubbing this along now. Coming down at an angle to give it the impression of some perspective is going off into the distance. Okay? And the same with this one. I'm doing all this now with just one big brush, okay? You don't need to be switching to some very small brushes for this. You can if you like, but you really don't need to. I find sometimes using the bigger brushes actually makes it look more natural. If you're there with a very small brush like this, and you're trying to paint each cloud individually, like this, then it's going to look very forced, and, you know, it's actually going to make your life more difficult. Now, I use a smaller brush if I'm doing highlights on clouds and things like that, but for this kind of cloud, just big brushes. I just use the big brushes, to be very honest with you. And look, you can dab it, and you can leave a flick out. You can make it go wherever. Just play around with it and have a bit of fun. Now I'm going to take some cadmium red and some black, and that'll give me a nice rich browny red just for up here. Just want to warm this area here slightly, while at the same time darkening it. And a bit more black. As I said, I want it nice and dark. And I'm going to put some red and perhaps a touch of burnt sienna just across here. Blend it up. You see, that's the beauty of oils. You can just blend it up with your brush. And I actually mixed this now just on the canvas, just this minute. I didn't mix it on the palette. I just put the paint directly on the canvas and started mixing. And that's a nice, warm kind of a value coming up into the sky there. It kind of shows us that it's reflecting something. And I might even go into some Naples yellow with some cadmium red. Perhaps a bit of cadmium as well. Touch of cadmium yellow. Just a tiny bit, and then blend that across with your blender brush. And that gives a beautiful impression of something off in the distance reflecting up into the sky. Now, let's see where we're at now with this. Let's just hold off for a second and take a look and see what we think about it. Now, I'm going to take my blender brush and just soften some of these here. Because while it's a very, very violent sky, at the same time I want it soft. So I'm just going to soften the brush marks very slightly, as if we're holding a feather, okay? Very, very, very gently. Let's just soften those across. Okay? No, that's not too bad. Right, I'm going to switch out to a smaller brush. And I'll explain to you what I'm doing as I'm going. Now, I want to switch to a small little flat brush, okay? Nice little flat brush. And what I want to do is, I want to just demonstrate putting one or two clouds with highlights and shadows floating across here. So, imagine that these clouds here are all far off in the distance, okay? And there's a couple of more prominent clouds then just coming in front of these. So that's what I want to show you. Now, I'm just going to basically take a dry brush, and I think, looking at the photograph, I just think I'll go into some white. So let's just go into some white. I might actually put a touch of cadmium red into that as well, okay? Just a tiny touch. I just want it a little pinky, but not too much. And let's try this now. We can always go over this now if we make a mistake, okay? Because as I said at the start, I'm just being spontaneous. So just let's try it. If it doesn't work, we'll take it away and go back over it. So I'm just going around here now in circular motions, okay? Just like this. And kind of blend it off then, like that. And dry your brush again. And let's go back into some of that brighter colour that we had earlier. And let's put another one in up here. And I'm imagining the shape of the top edge of the clouds now, okay? And it's okay, you can either blend into that dark behind it, because that'll give you some nice tones and different values of grey. Now, you see how easy it was? And then take your blender brush and just soften the end of that cloud. I don't want to get rid of the brush strokes because they're nice. I like the brush strokes. Just soften the bottom half of that cloud down into the cloud underneath. See? It's quite easy. Now obviously there are many different ways of painting clouds. This is how I like to paint clouds. Many other people have different techniques, and they're probably beautiful techniques, but this is just the way I like to do it, and this is why I wanted to show you my way of painting. Now, there's a bit of light coming across here, so I just want to take some white, and I want to just put some white paint just along in here, because that light sky is kind of peeping through. There we go. Just a little here and there. I'm just wiggling the brush now from side to side. That's all I am doing. Now, there we go, and also I'll put a little up here, like this. I'm just looking at the photograph now, just very, very loosely, okay? I'm kind of doing my own thing as well as I go along. Now I'm going to take some more of that lighter colour, just dip into your white, and just on the top edges of these clouds, I'm just going to kind of flick the brush around in all different directions, just catching the top of the cloud. There we go. And I'm going to put one in then just here. There we are. There's one just flicking across the sky. Just there, and then just take our blender and let's just pull that down. There we are. And again, we'll soften this side here. Now you can do as much or as little as this as you like. You don't have to do this exactly if you don't want to. It's your canvas, lads, you can do whatever you like. But I'm just trying to put a hint of a cloud in just here and there. And I'm going to come over here now and put some highlights under these clouds. So I'm going to take some, now I'm just going to clean my brush here, give it a quick wipe, and take some titanium white, and perhaps a touch of Naples yellow. And when I say a touch, I mean just literally the tiniest little amount in with the white. And just under here, I want to put some highlights on these clouds. And I'm flicking it upwards at an angle. And that will show you the direction of the cloud. See? I'm just pulling it up and I'm dragging it with my blender brush then. Okay. And we'll do the same on this side. We'll pull that way. Now, I want to put some darks now in behind these here. So I'm going to take a really, really dark colour. I'm going to take some black and a touch of brown. And I might even take a touch of phaylo blue as well. Now, I'm just going to try this. I won't be exactly sure how it's going to turn out. I just want to try it. Just put a cloud across there. And feather it off then into the distance. Let's make it a bit bigger actually. There we are. And let's put another one just under here. One or two small ones floating off in the distance. Okay. And remember, when everything is off in the distance, it's almost horizontal. Bear that in mind. And I'm going to darken this cloud just through here. Little circular motions, round in circles. There we go. Just like that. And I'm blending it off then into the background as well. And then take our blender brush and let's just soften it very, very gently. See? And actually, I will soften these as well. Now the canvas has actually started to dry slightly. Isn't that amazing? Just down at the bottom. It's kind of drying in little by little as we go. I'm just going to put one or two more dark ones floating across here. Just like that. I'm taking another bit of paint. And I might put one or two across here. There we are. and one just underneath here. And I'm going at a very slight angle now just to give some perspective in this. Okay, that's all I'm doing. That's the only reason for it. And right down at the bottom then, I'm going to take my... In fact, I'll just take a slightly bigger brush, okay, than the one that you just used. And go into some black, touch of red. Say 50-50, and then just come down here. Let's put some nice dark across the bottom. And that'll emphasize very, very dark sky off in the distance. And you can see now how dry the canvas is getting, because this is really, I'm kind of having to scrub this in. But that's fine. I really don't mind that at all. No, there we go. And that's not a bad sky. It's just what I was looking for. Just to show you how the red will kind of stand out against this dark sky. That's all I want to do. Now, so let's just soften. Let's just soften all this together. Just like so. There we are. Now, okay, we'll come down here now and start the ocean, okay, and I'm just going to make it slightly lighter than the colour above it. So, I'm going to zoom back again just to show you the palette, alright? Because I know you want to see me mixing as well. So I'm just going to zoom back slightly. Now let me just blend this a little bit here just in the centre. That's it. Now, okay, I'm going to zoom back, bear with me. And there we go. It's amazing what you can do with a phone, isn't it? Now, there we go. And as I'm looking at it now, I'm just going to blend this a little bit more here. There we are. That's a bit better. That's much better. And I quite like this orangey kind of a colour here as well in the corner. It's quite nice, isn't it? And I might actually, do you know what? I think I'll bring that across a bit more. Because I really, really like the colour. So I'm going to take some cadmium red deep, some burnt sienna, touch of yellow. That's a lovely rich orangey colour. There we are. Now be careful that it doesn't go green when it interacts with this black here, because anything with yellow against black will always kind of turn a kind of a greeny tinge. So just be careful with that. Just bear that in mind, okay? Now I'm only just very lightly dragging the colour across. Very, very, very lightly. No, that's fine. Right. This ocean, okay? I'm just going to clean my big brush a little and I'm going to dip into some white. Let's see now. Some white and some of that black. I'm just going to basically make a light grey, because I want some contrast between the light and the dark, but not too much, if you understand what I mean. And just pull that across, and as we get further across then, introduce a tiny bit of red. And that'll complement that kind of orangey colour up over it as well. Okay, a little bit more red. There we go. Oh, I made a little mistake there, that's fine. No worries. I will just blend that together. Just pull the blender brush across here. Let's just blend it slightly. I don't want it to be completely blended in together, but it is very, very far away. There we go. So you can't really make out the horizon line, if you know what I mean, if that makes sense. Now, okay, let's dampen the brush slightly and go back into some black with some red and a tiny bit of burnt umber. And let's just give that a go here and see. Now remember what I was saying earlier, I want to keep tones, I want to keep it warm. So I'm not going into blue very much. And I know now you think, well, it's a seascape, so there should be blue. And a lot of times, yes, there would be blue. But I'm keeping it to an absolute minimum, if possible. There we go. And just dampen the brush a little again. Take some more black, some more white, touch of brown. So seascapes don't have to be blue. Not necessarily. There we go. And let's just blend this up then. And we're going to be putting some nice waves in here now as well in a minute. So don't forget about that. There's going to be some nice bright white waves going in. So it is not going to be very bland. But at the same time, I don't want to overpower the red boats. I don't want to be covering the whole painting with waves either. So I'm just going to keep them to a minimum. Just a couple of little nice waves. Now I think I'll go into a little bit of cobalt blue now this time, and a little bit of red. Alright, and let's just put a little bit of that dark in here. And also, I must put more paint on my palette, more black paint. There we go. Now these are only student quality paints, alright guys? They're just student quality. Now they are like €5 for one tube, which is okay. You get a lot of paintings out of one tube, depending on how you paint. If you're going to use a palette knife for entire painting, it's not going to last very long. But I don't buy the expensive artist quality paint, quite simply because I don't have the money. Because they're very, very expensive. But these will work just fine. They'll work just fine. I suppose it depends on the types of colours you're using. Some colours won't have much pigment in them as other colours. And what I mean by that is some of the more expensive paints will have a lot more pigment in them. So the colours will be much richer compared to these cheaper paints. Now I don't mind that drawback. I'm quite happy to paint with these. But bear that in mind, you can pick up one or two colours if you like. It might have very, very strong pigments in them. And that's a good idea. But I just find them too expensive, to be quite honest. So I'm just using these for now. And when I become famous and I make some good money, I'll buy expensive paints. Isn't that right? Now, I want to complement this just on the ocean here, so I'm just taking a touch of red and perhaps a touch of yellow, and just very, very lightly. I'm just going to bring that across here. There we go. That's all we need to do, basically. Now, I think at this stage I could probably put the red sailboats in, I think. Yeah, I think I will actually. So, for that we're going to take the small round brush and also a slightly bigger round brush. Okay, cheap brushes, nothing too fancy. Let me see if I can get another one because this one is not in the best of shape. There we go. And what I'm going to do is dip into some cadmium red. And I'm going to zoom back in here now, okay, to the painting. And let me just straighten it for you as much as I possibly can. Right, red sailboats. Cadmium red, just pure cadmium red now, okay? And let's pick a point number to start. I think we'll start with one here. So I'm going to put one straight down like this. And come down like that. Now this is only one of the sails. Okay. And we'll probably put one or two layers on this, I think, because this paint will initially mix with the colour underneath. So you can let it dry if you like. But I normally don't have the patience to let these things dry. So I'll just go ahead and keep painting paint on paint on paint. Which is probably the wrong way to do it, but for the sake of the tutorial, I'm just going to keep painting until I get what I want. Now, there we go. And then switch to a smaller brush. And let's take some of that red. And there's another sail just here, a small one. Go. Now this is all one boat, okay? Now into the red I'm going to put a touch of cadmium yellow because I think I'll warm it up just very, very slightly. Yeah, let's put a touch of yellow in there. That's a bit better, isn't it? And then let's just take a touch of a white. I'm just going to put some more white on my palette here. There we go. And let's just put a little highlight just along the edge. Alright. Just dragging. I'm not mixing it, I'm not blending it out, doing anything at all like that with the boat. And then underneath, let's put in the boat. It's just basically dark. So take a bit of, say, burnt umber. And let's come across here. And remember now, this is just an impression. Okay, just like that. Now, what I want to do is suggest a reflection in this water. So, let me switch now to my little flat brush, alright? Because it has a nice sharp edge on it. Give it a quick clean. And let's go into some red. And just here and there under the boat, look. Just going to put a little flick of red in. Just as a suggestion. That's all I'm doing, a suggestion. It's not an exact replication of the boat. It's just a very loose suggestion, that's all. Okay? I'm not going to go mad with it. Just a little here and there. And then let's put a little shadow actually in on that red as well. Let's take some red with a little bit of black and let's put a little shadow just down behind. Just down behind that sail. There we go. And we can brighten these now again as we go, lads, alright? So let's go again. Let's do another one. Now we're going to do a couple of these all the way along. And again, they don't have to be all red, but I'm picking red now just for one or two. Now, in this one, I'm just going to make it a plain boat. Nothing fancy. Just one sail off in the distance. Alright. And I'm going to take a little bit of black and just put a little bit of black in there like that. Again, just as a suggestion. Let's take some more red again on our flat brush and put a little suggestion of that reflection there. So you can see now it's just really, it's a series of steps. That's all it is. And these videos now, lads, by the way, are more kind of aimed at the beginner. So if you're sitting down at home flicking through YouTube and you're watching this, and you've never painted before, and you're thinking, God, that looks easy enough, don't it? Then I promise you it is. And don't be afraid to try. Now I'm putting a little bit of Naples yellow on this one, just to brighten it slightly. A little bit down there, and a little bit across the front of the boat. There we go. And I'm going to do another sail off in the distance here, but it's going to be white. Let's just put a white one in. We'll create some drama, will we? There we go. And clean the brush, take a little bit of black, and let's put a little bit of black under that. And let's take a little bit of white again. Now it'll be a little bit more grey this time. The reflections won't be pure white. And there we go. Let's drag it across. Now, I also want to put one big red one in just here. It's going to be a very, very big, bright red boat. It's going to be up close. So let's go into the red again. And in fact, let's take a tiny touch of yellow. I just want to make this a little warmer, okay lads? Just a little. And I'm going to put in big boat up close. There we are. Now, that's one sail. Let's take a bit of yellow. Just warm that up slightly with a bit of yellow. In fact, I'm going to go bigger. You see, this is the nice thing about painting. You can change things as you go. Let's make it a bit bigger. So why not, says he? No. There we are. And you could even use your knife as well for some of this if you liked. You can use the old trusty palette knife for this. Would be very, very nice as well. Now, another red sail next to it. There we go. Fill this in with nice rich red paint. So you can see now how the red is really complementing the grey in the sky. Can't you? They just work really well together. And in fact, I think I will use the knife and show you. Pick up some red on your knife. Okay, a little bit of red. And just drag it across. Now you see how vibrant that looks. Really, really rich and vibrant. There we go. And let's pick up a little bit of white. And let's put a bit of highlight on the edge of this. Using the knife. There we go. Now, let's clean the brush, small round brush, and let's go into some black. Let's go into some black for this. And just pull some black across the base of that. These are very kind of flat boats. So they're very, very thin, skinny hulls. Alright. Here we go. And let's put a suggestion of a few people on that. So we could put one suggestion of someone here. See? And somebody up here. And another one next to this guy, just here. And they're tying down ropes and doing all sorts of things. There we are. Okay, we can put one here. And let's reflect that now down onto the ocean. Now I'm going to be putting some waves in here as well. So a lot of this will disappear later. But there will be just a hint. Now I'm just wiggling it from side to side. Now I'm going in the direction of this sail. So this is going this way. So the reflection is going to go this way. Alright? Try to imagine almost turning your canvas upside down. And painting it that way then. And you can do that too if it makes it easier. A lot of people paint like that. See? There we go. And let's just take a tiny bit of black and drag a little bit of black across there as a reflection. And there we go. And that's not bad at all now, lads, is it? So I'm just going to take a little bit of white on my pointy brush, okay, bring it to a point. I'm just going to attach some ropes to this on there, and there's going to be one coming down here. Let me see now, put a little bit there, and the same with this. Now this is so far away you'll hardly even see it, to be honest, but I just want to suggest it anyway. There we go. And we have to put a shadow on this as well, we forgot about that. Let's put a little shadow in under here. And this is a nice painting to try. It's nice and simple, but it has a big impact when you see the red against the grey behind it. It's fantastic, isn't it? Put a little shadow in there. Now, as I said, you can go over that about more red again later, and I think I probably will. So for now, I think we'll start some of the water. We'll get some waves in here and there. Now I'm just going to take my knife, okay, and I'm going to scrape some white off of that and get a nice edge of white just on your palette knife. And let's just go across here and there. Just cutting across those boats, just to give an idea of the water rippling off from these boats. And I'm then going to go in and soften that with my blender brush. Just a little now, not too much. And let me just pick up another little bit of that white and just off in the distance here and there. Drag that across just very, very lightly. And I'm going to put some waves here around the window. I'm going to do some nice waves for you, because I know a few of you were asking me about that. So I'm going to do some nice waves. Now, the way I paint waves is, I'll take my pointy brush, right, and I'll go into some white. Just take some wet paint now, just white paint on my brush, and I look at the painting and decide, right, where would I like the waves to come from and which direction would I like them to go. And what I normally do is I just start drawing. Now this is the very tip of the waves that I'm drawing here, okay? So I'm just going to come down. So I want the waves kind of coming across this way against the boats. So I'm going to just wiggle the brush around here, very, very jagged. Alright, and come across like that. Now this is the very, very top of the wave. Bear that in mind. There we go. And I'm going to break off of that with another wave across this way. And we put another one here. And it goes off into the distance. And this will all make sense now very, very soon. I promise. I'm going to put another wave cutting across this reflection here. And I'm going to come around this way. And another one off it there. Okay. And I'm going to do one over here. I'm just wiggling the brush around as if you're painting twigs on a tree. And I know it probably looks a bit funny at the moment, like lightning strikes or something like that, isn't it? Well, it will all make sense now very soon. There we go, and put some over like that. It's just the foreground here. It's not going to be all the way up the ocean. Now, I'm going to take this little flat brush, okay, the one we used for the red, and I'm going to just give it a really good clean. You can switch to a different brush if you want, but this is fine. I'll just give it a good clean on the tissue here, because it has a nice sharp edge. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into my white, okay, and I'm going to decide that the light, going by these sails, the light is coming from the right hand side, okay, and it's coming down on, shining down and everything, and the same with the clouds, look, okay, it's coming across this way. So I'm going to paint the right hand side of these lines white, and I'm basically just going to flick. Look, I'll start on this side. I'm going to pull it down like this, a slight curve, okay. Now, can you see this okay? Let me just check. Yeah, you can see it all right. Pull that down and feather it off then into the distance. Just kind of blend it in with your brush into the distance. You see? Now, clean that off and go back into fresh white. And this side here of this one is going to be bright. Now don't worry if it mixes with the kind of dark colour underneath, that's fine. We can lighten it again in a minute. Now let's just pull those out into that dark ocean. There we are. You see how easy that was? And let's go over to this one and pull that down. Now this is only a small one, so I'm just going to pull it down just a little. Okay. There we are. I don't want to go into the one next to it. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take another brush, something similar, wet that slightly, and I'm going to go into a darker colour this time. Now I'm going to go into a little bit of the black and a touch of cobalt blue as well. I'm going to add a tiny touch of blue into this, and on the dark sides I'm going to pull that down. Okay, just slightly. Now because this is over on the left hand side, okay, you're not going to see the dark behind it because it's hidden, okay, it's kind of in behind the wave. So you're not going to see it very much here. Just bear that in mind. And let's just blend that over there into that white. Yeah. Now, notice my brush strokes, okay, when I'm doing this, I'm just going like this. Okay, left and right. I'm flicking it up and down, left and right. And that's creating the direction of the water. You see? Now, that's only just kind of the first half of this wave. We'll be coming along here again later with highlights. So I'm going to go over to the next one now and show you that again. So I'm going to switch to my white, and I might even put a touch of Naples yellow. I just want to lighten it slightly. Now this is a nice small one here, so we'll do this one. Just pull this down. And I'm going horizontal now at this stage. Just pull it across gently off into the distance. And here, and pull this down. And I'm going to come right across here and down. And pull it over. And it's quite dry now at the moment, the canvas. So let's just blend that in gently. You see? And let's pick up some more brighter paint. And let's hit the top of that here and there. And I'm just kind of catching the highlights on the tops of the waves. That's all I'm trying to do. And I'm going to switch to my darker brush and pick up some of that black. And let's pick up a touch of burnt umber. And just in behind this, we have a dark coming down here. You see? A little bit here. And I'm just basically showing the shadow now being cast from this wave. That's what I'm doing here. You can see there's a very rich shadow. Now I'm going to go into some phaylo blue and some black, because I want a really dark shadowy colour, a real bluey black. Now we can even add a little bit of purple into this as well. Might be nice. Okay, there we are. So you can see now how we're getting there. Things are starting to form on the canvas. Now, if you didn't like that, you weren't happy with that wave there, okay? What you could do is just take your pointy brush, go back into some white, and let's just bring it off somewhere else. Let's just say the wave breaks off and goes over here. Okay? Okay guys, slight problem. Now, when I was looking back at the recording of the video, there was an error on one of the recordings, and it was when I was just finishing some of the waves, just as I was doing there now. Some of the waves going across were cut out of the video. I don't know why, it just says error on video, so the video wouldn't play for me, so unfortunately I had to cut it short slightly. But what you've just seen there now is basically how the waves are painted, okay? So that's unfortunate, but look, these things can happen. I suppose I was probably making the video a little too long, which means I probably had to cut the video in half to make two parts of the video. So I'm only assuming that the memory card ran out of space or something. So I apologise, but that's generally how the waves are painted. So I'm just going to show you the finished photograph here, finished painting rather, and just talk you through what I did as I was going along, okay? So I apologise, but look, here's the finished painting anyway. Now, so you can see that's where we were, and it's basically the same thing all the way along. Now I've painted the red boats as well. Okay, I just painted red sails with a little bit of white on one side, a little bit of black on the other side, and just a suggestion of some people. And you can see I just painted 4 boats going off into the distance, and the waves were exactly the same as we painted just now. Okay, all the way along. And also I put 3 seagulls up on the right hand side. So with the reflections, guys, I just basically got some red paint on my little pointy brush, I'll show you, and I just went along, just put some red just along here and there, from side to side. Okay, that's all I did, and I put a little bit into the wave as well, just like this. Alright, and blended it across them with the blender brush very gently. So that's how they're done. So look, just the finished painting anyway, guys. I hope you like it. Again, I apologise sincerely for cutting the video short. I will try not to make this mistake again. So guys, I hope you liked it. Until next time, I will see you again. I'm not happy about this. So happy painting, guys. Give it a go, it's good fun, give it a go. So I'll see you later. Thanks guys, thanks for watching, and leave comments. I love the comments, good or bad, it doesn't matter. Just leave a comment and help me out, help me to help you, okay? That's what I'll say. So I'll see you later, guys. Thanks and God bless.